Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Hurry up and tap in because we're going to go right straight into the event. I'm really excited for what we have our last guest for our last Black History Month, specifically IG Live Talk. Hey, Mentee, how's it going? Definitely want to shout out and give special thanks to all of our special guests that we've had. Definitely been able to learn a lot, especially on the showrunner level, because I try to get people that were like showrunners, EPs, and all that level. But for our last special guest that we have is all about the scripted world. So before we further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and bring in our special guest so that way we can get them in. Invite. All right, I got one. Hey, Brooklynn.
Hello.
How's it going?
Thank you so much again for having us.
Oh, of course. Listen, I just thank you so much for supporting QOP and the fact that you all have some projects coming up in your journey. I was like, I cannot just not finish this Black History Month for this year without having our special guests, Brooklynn and Rita, over here in the scripted world. They're just so amazing. I follow you all anyway, just because, that's the Leo in me. And just seeing you all's like accolades and creativity and the masterminds that you all have in not only the scripted world, but we're going to talk about a lot of things in technology. I'm going to drop that little gem in there. But before we go into the tea, I want to go ahead and introduce our guests. Brooklynn, can you start first and then Rita follow suit? Tell us where you're from, what gave you that eye of creativity, and just how all became into your journey as in production.
How long we got? No, I'm kidding.
We got
honestly, so my journey into film came late in life. I have a business and sports background, and back in 2016, I kind of hit this like rock bottom where I lost everything. I was just taking the next right move, started my spiritual path of like, just don't stay stuck or go backwards. And in 2019 is when I had that epiphany, when that next step in corporate America seems kind of permanent for a while. I was like, this ain't it. And I just kind of had that epiphany. Like I was either on the court or glued to the television or going to the movies by myself. So I was like, oh, like I love film. I love characters. So in 2019, I just like quit my job, cashed out my 401k, moved across the country and just started this journey. Yeah, I just like dove right in and just started submitting to places, and I got a scholarship to go to France. And when I went to France for this writer's retreat, everything, listen, when you put your energy behind something and just keep going, things will start just trickling in your life. So I met two of my mentors there, Jen Grisanti and Richard Botto, and they said, you got the gift, kid. You got it, so keep on. So since 2019 till now, I just kind of like put my head down and learned. Again, I didn't know anything really about film. So for the last 4 years, and this is a testament to anybody who starts late, it's just put in the work and put your head down. And if you love it, it comes to you in certain waves. So I started in writing. Writing wasn't my end all be all. I knew I wanted to show run and produce because my gift is uplifting others' voices. Like my gift is bringing the best out of people. So I had to understand the structure of story. I had to understand writing was like in any type of, I feel like in the industry, writing is the baseline.
100%.
Like writing is the thing that gets you. All of the other tools can come if you know the structure of writing, the structure of character, the arcs and everything else. So that's just kind of my end to it. It was an epiphany 2 months after my 30th birthday. I was like, I'm going to be a showrunner.
Ooh, I know that's right. And for Rita, was that for you? Was that like an epiphany moment, or what was your journey?
I'm sort of like this scatterbrained person, neurodivergent here. And I sort of started film at the age of 12. I requested my mom buy me a VHS camera for Christmas. And the sort of reason I wanted it for Christmas, it was a bold ask because it was a lot of money. My mom has 6 girls.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
And I fell in at number 4, but I had this really big imagination as a kid, and I imagined that if I got a VHS tape, I could film me and my sisters outside and show the world what we did in South Central. And I also wanted to send in my audition tapes for singing. La 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 la. Yes! To certain people. And so I was like, Mom, I just need this video camera. And so Christmas comes. I have one gift under the Christmas tree, by the way, because I told you it was expensive.
Right.
And it's this VHS camcorder. And I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. And the very next day, I put it on like our TV stand, lined my sisters up for like the scene I came up with. It was like a 1-2 step dancing scene. And the camera fell off the TV stand and it broke the very next day. I know.
Oh,
My
no.
mom was like, girl, I would never, ever. And so I kind of like felt in that moment like, okay, girl, this is not for you. And that carried over into high school because I got that at 12. It carried over into college. And I sort of went with my strategic mindset, which was like politics. And that's what I got my career in. I did my 20s in politics. And but so sort of that looming that creativity that came from me being that 12-year-old with that imagination, it just kept like tugging at my heartstrings while in Washington D.C. I was like 23, 24, and I was just like, well, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do it myself. And I bought myself like, the DSLRs was popping back then. I was like,
you
let me get my
the classics. If nobody knows a beat, listen, take the note.
I was like, let me get my little Canon Rebel DSLR, give me my little lights, my ring light. And I started like this hair channel. Then I started like this news show called News for the Culture. And the magic just started to happen. And so I was like, I want to do this on a large scale. How can I do this on a large scale? So I just applied to film school and I got into Columbia College Chicago. Never had made like a full narrative scripted film before.
Yeah.
And then from there, I was able to become a showrunner's assistant on a show called 61st Street. I was a production assistant in Chicago on many shows. And then I was a production coordinator on Mike Gaio's Send Help on All Black. And that's how I met Mike. And that's how I sort of stumbled into the Black Boy, Black Girl Rights mentorship program and met everybody. So that is my journey into filmmaking.
Wow. And this is what I want my audience to understand. Every journey is different and every path is walked so different, but how we all come together in the simplest thing is we want to create, we want to see something for our people, and the VHS tapes. I feel like anybody in our era of a VHS tape is now a director, producer, creative, anything, DJ, all the things. So before we dive really specifically after college and you all getting into the writers camp, specifically the Black Boy, Black Girls Rights Initiative, I wanted to get a question in there. What was that one director or movie or show that made you be like, oh, I want to do this like for a job? For me, of course, I always got to shout out LA because I'm from LA too, specifically North Hollywood, but I have people from Cornwall all the way down to Carson. John Singleton will always, always, always be an icon to me in the way that he tells his stories, and specifically Boys in the Hood, of course, how he was able to give real life characters and real character development. And for me, I love music. And for that to just blend so well in the script just made me fall in love. I was like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. Now, I don't know how I'm going to get paid and monetized, but hey, we're going to make it work. I'll start with you, Brooklyn. What was that director, that movie or show that gave you that, I may want to do this for the rest of my life?
For the rest of my life type of vibe, it was Scandal. Scandal was the show that gave me like just the depth of, until it got a little crazy when it got a little B613 got crazy towards the end. Like everyone, everyone. I'm command. No, I'm command. No, I'm command. Like it got a little crazy at the end. I'm not gonna lie. After like the fourth season, I was like, all right.
Doesn't usually happen like the third, fourth season stuff kind of be like,
yeah,
okay, I'm not the one. I'm not.
No, it's just like the realism, because the passion between like the characters is what kept it alive, that you wanted to keep going, but like the concept just got crazy. Like the concept just kept getting more crazy and more crazy, and I was just like, but Scandal was that show that I was like, this is something that I just love Shonda. I like her storytelling and the way that she can create character. to me, that is just my person. Like Shonda really can, and Scandal really enthralled. Like, come on, Scandal was the talk of the town. Those the talk of
If
the
you
town.
have men talking about it,
Yes,
that's when you know you got them. And Shonda can wrap around it. Don't matter if you're in Bridgerton, if you in the White House, if you in anywhere, you gonna get your feelings all the way in
yeah.
it. Okay, Rita, what about you? What is that? Person, show, movie that really gave you that like aha moment? Like, I think I want to do this for a career.
I have two
Okay.
films. One of them, a lot of like criticism over because they're like, what? Why this movie?
Okay, give it to me.
Reason. I have a reason. The first one is Now and Then. It was I love that film. Like
I'll give
I
it.
used to be like, oh, we're gonna have a summer like this. I love it because again, I come from a tribe of women. There's 6 sisters. And I love any story that centers the relationships between young girls and women and sort of how we lean on each other to get through life.
Mhm.
And Now and Then was like one of the first irreverent, rebellious, fun-loving, real sort of narratives that captivated me as a child. And again, it was anchored by that girl friendship.
Yeah.
The other one is Deliver Us from Eva.
Yes!
I don't care. I don't care.
That's my jam too. Okay, I thought I was the only one. Oh, give me your why.
Because Gabrielle Union was fire, okay? And Mama Says Clean It Up. That one scene when she got into that restaurant owner's ASS about his restaurant was great, but also because it's anchored in sisterhood.
Yeah.
And sort of these sisters getting through, life without their parents and making decisions when it comes to men and marriage and how they're going to stick together through all the ups and the downs.
Yeah.
And I had it on VHS. Like my mom had a stand of VHS tapes in our house. And then when DVDs came out, which I was alive when we had that switch.
Yeah.
I was a little hurt. I was a little hurt. I was like,
it was a tough transition. There was a tough transition.
We were like DVDs.
I was like Blockbuster? So
Yeah.
what does this mean? A red box?
Yeah.
I don't like this.
Right?
Ridiculous.
The red box came Netflix.
And they just, as of I think last week or a week before, I just got the news that I want to say one of the stores has taken out their digital physical medias. Like they don't have them anymore. Y'all, we getting up there.
We getting up there.
We getting up there.
We are.
Hey, chill.
Chill. Well,
Listen.
amazing. And so now we're diving into after college. We kind of getting into, we're now getting into the nitty gritties of the entry level, finding the work. Writers camps. I don't know about them. Give me just the full 101 of a writer's camp and the necessity for it in the scripted world. And give us really the whole jazz of the blessing to be able to get into the initiative, Black Boy, Black Girls Writers Initiative.
You want to start, Rita?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. I think the basis of these programs is community and networking, and access.
Yeah.
To movers and shakers that you would not have had otherwise, and then just like a community of people to hold you accountable for your art, your creativity. Like we're all sort of like us creatives. Typically, we're just like we have this big imagination, we have this vision, but the real work becomes honing in on that and sort of making something of that. So with these writers programs, they sort of give you a community for that, and that sort of manifests itself in ways like brain farting right now. Writers' rooms, reading scripts, presenting your script in front of movers and shakers, right?
Yeah.
And making sure that you are poised for the next step. You say you want to be a writer. You say you want to write films. You want to be a television writer. You want to be the next Shonda Rhimes. You want to be the next Ava DuVernay. You want to be the next, Lena Dunham, Issa Rae, Greta Gerwig. These programs sort of hammer in what it takes to do that, while also having your back and giving you the access to make that a tangible achievement.
Brooklyn, I'll give you the question. Before you even knew, like before this camping initiative, the Black Boy, Black Girls Writers Initiative, did you know anything about writers camps at all? Like even like in college, when did you started to hear the word writers camps? 'Cause honestly, I didn't really hear about the word writers camps, at least for me, until I got a job in TV, and then they started talking about it. I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't really know much about it.
Oh yeah, well I heard about a bunch of like fellowships and mentor programs that you apply to because the mentor that I met in France, Richard Botto, he's the owner, CEO of Stage 32. So when I came back from France, I had noticed that like writers don't have a lot of confidence in telling their story. Like they can be behind the be behind the computer, but like when they have to pitch and they have to pitch themselves and their story, I noticed during the executive hours when they were pitching to executives, the timidness and everything else like that. So I actually volunteered myself because that's my gift. You know, hey, let me spruce you up a little bit and send you out, my little butterfly. So I decided to help people. So for the last 4 years, I've helped people in their pitches. And through that, just in the industry of Stage 32 and the networking of that, I noticed like other fellowships, mentorships, and everything else like that you could submit to. But with anything, I'm going to just piggyback off of what Rita said about like getting into these programs. Yes, you have to be a gifted writer. Yes, you have to have talent. Like you got to know how to write, y'all. You got to know how to write to get into these programs for sure. But the community of what you create and how you bring value into certain spaces is what gets you a better opportunity into these mentorships and into these programs. Because I'm just going to be real. Like this industry and with any other industry, it's about who you know. That's why I tell the writers and who I teach and who I pitch. It's like, you got to make yourself seen. You got to be able to put yourself out there. How do you bring value to your community? How do you bring value to your peers? How do you bring value to not just, oh, give me, read my script and give me. It's like, you got to find your niche on what you're good at and give value and make yourself known. And in that, with your craft, you get better opportunities to get these fellowships and get these programs because your name's already buzzed around. Now, don't just be out here networking, being buzz, and then you can't write and you can't do nothing real good.
They be like, give me a paragraph. They be like,
girl, don't, if you gotta have both.
Chat
When they ask
GPT,
for
what's that? Listen.
When they ask you, yeah, you could network your butt off and be, you know, smoozy woozy charm, and it's like, okay, send me that. That sounds like a great thing. And then now you saying your script, the structure's off, the first 10 pages, they don't know what's going on in your story. That like, so it's a little mixture of both. So I want people to really understand that, like, yes, you have to have the structure of writing, but this industry is both. You have to learn how to carry yourself within the industry and give value. You have to give value to people, period.
And so give us, and Rita, you can tap in for this one, and Brooklyn follow suit. Give us the best memory that you had with being in the initiative, the Black Boy, Black Girls Writers Initiative camp. Give us one memory. I know it's so many, but just give us your one best memory. I would say this, one best memory and one challenge, because I know sometimes it's highs and lows. So Rita, I'll have you start first. What was your one good memory and then one challenge that you overcame, or shit, you had to do what you had to do?
I would say my challenge was meeting deadlines.
Yo, Rita, that's so real though for you, Rita.
And
but you know what? I'm right there with you, girl, because the procrastination, especially being the remote, real.
Brooklyn, no.
So she came real. That's a real, like she said, listen, the deadline, girl.
Like, girl, it's not even funny at this point. I need everybody to understand that it is not acceptable to want to be a writer and you can't meet deadline. That is a part of the skill. It's a part of the skill.
And before you jump in, what specific deadlines? Because I know that there can be many.
I would say drafts,
okay.
Right? Like you sort of determine how many drafts with whomever, and then you tell them you're going to get it back to them in 5 days or 7 days, and it usually takes me more than that. So,
by the grace, it's gonna get
deadline.
there. Listen, it's like Cat Williams. It's like, we here. I'm gonna meet you where you are, and I'm coming.
I'm coming.
They know.
We know. I already know it's gonna happen.
Value to Brooklyn's point about bringing value, the value of me coming is when I do come, I come hard. It's like, oh, it's like it was worth the wait kind of thing.
She
But
gonna give
I
the
should not
Uno
rely
plus
on that.
4. She gonna give the draw 4
The
on
draw,
you.
she gonna Uno reverse draw 4. So you can't even go. And if you could go, you can't go because you're picking up more cards and she's out. Like it does. I tell her all the time, Rita's brain is brilliant. The way her brain works is I just am obsessed with how her brain works. That's why we're a snowball. Like because I'm a Virgo, she's a Libra, and we're very much, our vision of this has always been the same, but our approach to it are polar opposite. Like it is a polar opposite approach, and that's what makes this such a beautiful collaboration with her, because it opens and expands different realms of even how to navigate this project and making you think and taking way, like I think outside the box.
Yeah.
Rita is like another box that has a parallelogram to the side that makes me even expand even more. Like I just love, because we challenge each other in that way. There's such a challenge for both of us. I challenge her, she challenges me, and it's just a great collaboration because her brain is brilliant. But my Virgo ass is really like before this, hey, let's get this deadline. Hey, the organization. I'm like, hey Rita. Hey Rita.
Listen, we're here.
Grounded. And I'm just like, I need you in my life.
Come on, organic. And so how did you two, like, because I know within initiatives, some people like connect outside of that or they get deeper. Did all of you all become family, or like how did you all get like closer, like to where you wanted to work on this project, which will dive into Resolution Black?
Yeah. So the challenge. Sorry, my brain was on the challenge.
Yeah.
And I was like,
so do the challenge. We'll go into it.
Okay, my challenge was when the script that I had submitted, I already rewrote it, but the different point of view was not in my point of view. I tried to make it in a different point of view of this other white woman. And I tried to like make it and snowball off of that. So the challenge was navigating this ensemble cast, how to put myself in the forefront of what this ensemble cast was, like my voice in it. And that was such a challenge because it was like a 7-character ensemble kind of cast, and I try to like drown myself out and make me like not the important role in it, and everyone looked at me like, bitch. Oh, sorry.
No, you can listen, we are.
I be cursing all the time. I'm like, wait, this ain't my life.
We are wrong. Okay, when it comes to Queen with the Branches, we are wrong. We are safe.
Okay, good girl, because I have, and so they were like looking at me like, first of all, it's a black boy, black girl, black, right? It's a black writing program, right? And the way I had rewritten it, it didn't have that voice, and I was like, okay, you're right. So that was the challenge. Let me dial it back to, because the way I put it my first way didn't tell the entire story. So it worked, because then when I put it in the other woman's point of view, it gave a different feel to the world. So when I went back to my point of view, I'm happy that I wrote it in the other way, because it expanded my voice into this world in a different way. So it worked out, but it was a challenge, girl. It was a challenge.
Ooh, it seemed like it was a challenge. Well, most of the challenges will always come success. So what would you say would be the one good memory or mantra that you took away from being a part of the initiative? I'll let Rita start first. Brooklyn, you'll follow suit.
My best memories is, gotta say, going out with these people and like just sitting at a cafe or partying if it's at an event that Mike is hosting or Black Boy, Black Girl Rights is hosting with another organization. I just love being there with them. So being with the people in person is my best memory.
I love it. What about you, Brooklyn?
I would say same. I just feel like I always say this, and other cohorts might get mad if they're on here, but I'm like, our cohort is we just all vibe. Outside of, we made the program what it was. I feel like the community that we made within it, we made the program what it was because of how we all interacted with each other, and gave life to each other. Like Rita said, we held each other accountable, even outside of our Zooms, even outside of whatever. We took initiatives to go to writers' rooms, cafes together. We took initiatives to have our own little side Slack chats that even led to this project. So my best memory is just probably like just being able to vibe with a group of people who are like-minded. Even if we're all in our own different projects, we're all rooting each other on, we're all giving each other, hey guys, did you check this out, or hey, did you see that this is upcoming to submit to, or hey, like, I just love that our cohort is like a year plus later, we're all still like on top of each other, like, hey, you got your notes in, hey, did you get this in, hey, and it's just a great so I don't know, my best memory is just the camaraderie between all of us throughout this whole 2 years. It's going on 2 years.
Yeah.
It's going on 2 years.
Yeah.
Anniversary coming up. What y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna go travel? Y'all gonna go international for the anniversary?
Ooh, I like that.
International, yeah, you
Listen, let
get
me throw that
fancy
out
now.
there.
Oh God. You are a Leo. She's
Let
an
me be a special
international.
guest. Well, let's tap into your project. So, Resolution Black. It is a 5-episode anthology series that explores the experience of Black people and technological advances in the past, present, and future. I love the fact that it's technology because we're going to tap into not only your project, like diving into that subject, but how the evolution of technology has really helped us as independent creatives since we've had to go back to the basics with Hollywood being a hot mess. So, talk about Resolution Black. Who came up with the idea? And what made you decide to do, out of all the subjects, because everybody want to be doing about love, about the community, but about breakups, about the normal things we probably hear about. But technology, we don't really hear about it, and especially in this type of series. So tell us the beginnings.
So it started off with the Slack chats that Brooklyn spoke of earlier.
Yeah.
We were just like, we should do a project together. And when you say something, it's just like, oh, whatever. But Brooklyn sort of was like, listen, in her Virgo-ness, listen, we're gonna do this, guys. We're gonna do this. And so she sort of brought us all together. And then we decided, like, well, how are we going to choose what we're going to do through like a draw or vote for a topic? So everybody sort of put like a theme in a virtual hat, basically. And we voted on it. And the thing that we came up with was life and technology. That was the one that everybody wanted to talk about. And, that made a lot of sense. We were going through the strike, and the strike was, the conversation around it was like AI, technology, sort of this new wave, which we had many waves of technological advancements throughout our lifetime, especially if you're a millennial, right? Like, we are the last generation where technology wasn't in our childhood, right? Like, it was there,
but it was like transitioning. It was little plants. They were they were using as experiments.
It was the dial-up
experiments. So we chose the topic life and technology, and from there, the 6 of us, we sort of just kept on building on, well, what life and technology. Everybody was coming up with the format of what this could be: a film, a bunch of short films, a web series, and so since we were sort of like in this new wave of technology, we sort of noticed this trend where there's like this new wave of format in sort of the television stratosphere, which was like mini series, which are like, they're limited series, but limited series are
like a Vince Staples show is considered limited series. Like the Vince Staples show being considered a limited series for now. Hopefully they pick it up.
Yeah, like it's like a one season, like them, right? One and done type of thing. Whereas a miniseries is like it'll be like 5 episodes, but you have the choice of how long each episode is.
Right. So, okay.
And, Brooklyn and I were really talking about this because since we live in this age of TikTok and everybody's attention span is like, very small, we felt like the format miniseries would work for us. So it all started off with us just all coming up with short films, and then we morphed the short films to fit into an anthology, like a mini series anthology. And we tied it all together with the past, present, and future of technology as it pertains to Black people's experiences.
I like that. And so for you, Brooklyn, what has been the experience doing your own project versus like when you're on a 9-to-5 or like you're on a gig, you're doing somebody else's story? What is that experience like for you?
I mean, well, this is it's still other people's stories, right? I'm not a writer on this, so
Right. Okay. Yeah.
it's still it's the excitement of what it is, making something that's ours, right? And that's why I feel like, because it's snowballing into like, oh, the and Sun Hours production of creating that, I spoke to Rita about before, like I made my production company. I thought I was crazy thinking about it, because it sit on my heart, because it's something I've wanted to do, but I thought I was gonna, be a writer's assistant, work my way up, and when I'm 48, I'll have a production company.
Girl.
That's what I thought. When I'm 48, I'll have a production company.
No, they really be thinking that when you're like 40 or 50, that's when you're like up there to do
That's when I think
all that stuff. But our generation's like, no, we can do that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought I was crazy thinking like that, though. I thought I even before I brought it to Rita's attention, I was sitting on it for like 2 months, a month and a half. Like, it kept being on my heart. Like, no, like this needs to be ours. Like, it needs to be something that we put together. We have creative control. So I feel like outside of a 9 to 5 working for somebody else, is just that we're putting so much effort into something that we have creative control over, on top of the impact that it's going to have. We're telling stories about us that we get to, like Rita and I talk about it all the time, taking the stigma out of technology for our culture. Like, we're always the last to like peek over to see like what's happening. We're fearful of it. Like, what's going on over there? And having something that's ours, and having something that's meaningful, and having something that's a transition of a wave, and being at the forefront of just what the technology is, and even the format of storytelling that we're telling is, like Rita was saying, we were having this conversation, it's been this, right, Rita? Like, there's been a kind of this in the past, and like us bringing this kind of format back into the forefront of this mini series. I just feel like it being ours, that's the difference, is that we get to create something and hold it to us and let it be ours. And it's not something that we like, it's not something that other people can enjoy it with us, but it's like, this is something that we're creating for us. And I hope that other people can see that and really understand that technology, although it is kind of scary, that's why our stories, the humanistic aspect of what they are within the technology, I hope that people understand. I hope I answered your question.
Oh, no, you did. And I think that even gives more of even the deeper question about the evolution of technology, and how, like you were saying, like the formats are completely different. And I think it's because of the fact that the budgets are getting smaller and smaller. Remember back in the day, like I remember, not even back in the day, like when I was an exec assistant for Pilgrim Studios at like 2014, 2015, when I first started TV, the turnarounds of shows that we had, episodes were about like 26 episodes. We had to break them up. So like back then we'd have like we'd shoot part A and part B, because it would be like back in the day, they used to do fall premiere and spring premiere. Now it's like you said, you'll have a limited series where it's like a 3 episode. You may have a one and done 1 episode that's 3 hours long. And you may also now with, even more with Snapchat and like TikTok and all that stuff, they're even making it shorter to 5-minute TRTs of just episodes, because the spans are just shorter and shorter and shorter. So where do you feel like for you, like, where do you think the pro and con is with the evolution of technology for creatives? Do you feel like the back bend work back then, like we'll think of music videos, they used to give the money for the budgets, okay? For the Hype Williams, the Director X's, my favorites. Now it's like they asking us to find the celebrity attachments and call these people and have everything done for them for a distribution in a small little chunk of change of revenue.
Yeah.
Where do you feel like the pro and con is going to come into with this evolution of technology for us if we start to, do more content? Are they going to request more and more of us that we can't give? I mean, I know we can give, but, Jesus.
I feel like the pro is what you said about budget, right? The pro is that it's not gonna, like, even like shows millions, right? You could do a mini series for $250,000, and the attention span of what it is, you can produce more content with the streaming services. People are more content. And in order to pump that content and keep, profits right and everything else, because some of the content you see out there, let's just talk about it. It's just not contenting like it's supposed to be contenting, you
And
know?
Quibi tried it. Quibi
Yeah.
tried it with the short attention spans.
Maybe
I was a part of that family. I did a Quibi show for TMZ for a little bit. That was my 1 week I worked with them. We will talk about that. But I think what happened with Quibi is that the idea was great, but I think the specific content that they had on their platform was not connecting to the audience that they were looking for. And I think the audience that they were looking for is my little sisters, the ones that really be literally on their phones all day and all stuff. So where do you feel like, and I think I'll leave that to you, Rita, do you feel the con also is the type of content that's going to be out in the next futures with the evolution of technology?
I think some of the cons are
Not recipes, Quibi.
content is, there's an overload of it. It's oversaturated. And that's every platform we could possibly think of. I'm really a fan of Apple TV, so
Talk about it, because I don't got it. I'm not paying another subscription. I can't.
They
have
good
amount of content with quality on there. It's like it's not oversaturated at all. And it feels very selective. And I know selective to some people breeds elitism, but in a world where, and I can't do elitism, so I'm not advocating that. But what I'm saying is, it's like in a world where everybody wants to be a film director, producer, writer, actor, you have to have sort of the guys like Apple TV to sort of be like, all right, we have a certain quality and rubric for the type of content that we want, versus a Netflix who oversaturates with everything, a Quibi who did that, and then all of a sudden they were gone. And now TikTok, it's a free platform, but now we're having conversations about it becoming a platform where they're going to have budgets and shows coming in, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that the cons are these artists are going to, you know what, I think it's a double-edged sword. It's a good thing that we are being forced to become independent, right? Issa Rae is going independent. And we love that. But sort of the reality with that is everybody's going to be fighting over these distribution deals. Tyler Perry sort of did this already, right? Like, has sort of created, he was years, decades even before his time.
That all my life.
Right? Like decades before his time, having this sort of split relationship with Lionsgate. I make the content, you distribute it. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And so now it's like everybody has that model. Everybody has the access to technology to buy the DSLR or the Alexas or the Reds or use their iPhones. And, you know, you have access to the internet to teach yourself on, what is it called? Udemy, how to be a DP. You have access to people on these sites where you could just hire people to do things for you. Like, everybody has access to have their own personnel, to write their own stories. And now everybody is going to look for access to these distribution deals and the funds. So that becomes oversaturated. That becomes like this playing field for these big networks. It's like, who are we going to choose? Who's to pick?
Like Hunger Games.
It's going to be the survival of the fittest and sort of a do or die situation. And I think it's a con, but I also think it is going to weed out.
I don't know if she got the good part. You said it was going to weed out
what? It cut out. It's going to weed out what?
It's going to weed out who really wants to do this.
Because I really, honestly, like, real talk, and I think these are conversations that we don't talk about. We talk about the red carpets. We talk about the pictures and the Getty images and the ahas, the watch parties, premieres, but we don't talk about, especially with the double strike that we had from the last year, and IATSE contract is getting ready to come on up, so we don't know what's going to happen with them. I feel a lot of my tribe is like getting smaller and smaller. Like some of them are just letting go of being a creative altogether. And so for you all, like, how have you all both, and I'll let Brooklyn start with this, how have you stayed strong
That's what I want.
in the madness of this industry that's happening right now?
It's what I want.
That's right.
It's what I want.
She said nothing about me.
Honestly, that's as Rita said, it's like it's gonna weed out who really wants this. Because with anything, going back to the value, it's like a lot of people want that fame or whatever it is, or that they have that one story that I need to tell my one story. But if you really believe in what it is that you want to do, like that's my whole, like my purpose is helping people find their passion and find their purpose, right? But my passion is storytelling, and I use my purpose through my passion. So for me, I get there's going to be obstacles, but in your mind, you have to set it up that, okay, and what is the solution? Okay, and how are we going to navigate? Okay, and let's move forward. Because there's always going to be obstacles through the whole transition of, since I was young, technology and everything, there's always going to be a wave of something different, something changing. And if you're afraid or it's whatever, then it's really like, you don't want it then for real. Like you wanted it for something else other than this is really what you want. Like creating story and really telling these stories is really what I want. So there is no plan B. There is no backup plan for me. So for me, it's easy. And I get that it's a kind of cliche answer, like, oh, just want it hard, deep enough. But at the end of the day, any success story in the industry, you see they've went 10 years, 15, some 20 years before they made it. But it's like the thing that they wanted. And navigating the waters is just understanding how to properly, insert yourself where you need to insert yourself on the ride, on the flow of what it is. So, I mean, honestly, it's as cliche as it is, but like, this is what I love. Like storytelling is what I love. Uplifting other people's voices is what I love. It's what I'm made to do. So there's no other option in my mind.
I feel like being a creative, even for me too, like I feel like me in this creative world, in my position specifically, I feel like I'm in like the relationship with Rihanna and Drake. Like, I
I
can't
was like,
stand him.
somebody else. I was like, girl, it's abusive.
Listen, I
was about to say somebody else. I was like, whoa.
That's why I had to think of the ones that she was dating back in the day. Because it's a love-hate relationship. Like, I feel like sometimes I'm like, oh my God, like, I just want to go and become a DJ for the rest of my life and just give music to the world. But I'm just like, something about it, just every time when I look at a show, I'm just like, oh, like, I'm in this for a reason. I'm doing this for a reason. And so going back to Resolution Black, where do you feel like the takeaway, if I was an audience member watching this project, what do you feel like the takeaway would be for me? Or what you want the audience to really like want to have them focus on? Besides the technology, like, is there any like deep subjects that you will be talking about in the project?
Yeah, nostalgia and just like hope. We want to immerse you. It centers Blackness, first of all, and we immerse you in the experience of your experience with technology as a Black person. Like when GPS came to the forefront, where were you at? What was happening?
I was throwing away the papers of MapQuest.
Right, MapQuest. Print them out.
Ripped them out. Okay, no more highlighted pens. No more.
When you heard your Alexa respond to you and you didn't ask it for nothing, what happened?
Right.
And how do you feel about AI and the delivery industry soon being taken over by robots? So it's like, it's that experience where it was just like, oh, I remember. And then when you remember, you also realize that you got through that wave. Right. When cell phones came, when we switched from razors to sidekicks, well, it was chirps, razors, sidekicks, iPhones. When we had sort of that switch, there was a sort of a fear there, but then there was an embracing, and then it became normal. And that's what we want to paint the picture. We want to show people that the answer has always been us. The answer has always been our interaction with technology, embracing it and letting it be a part of our everyday lives as we see fit.
And also, like, even too, like, I think it even shows how much us as a Black community, we pretty much were the pins and needles that pushed
Okay.
the, like, the popularity of each technology era. Okay, like every single moment, like the iPhones, we was on it. Even I would even say music overall, like we was listening to music from our nice little iPhones, little earbuds, to then eventually, you know, downloading stuff illegally off of LimeWire and BearShare. That was a mission and a task.
Who was
If y'all
doing
have a
illegal
little,
stuff?
please, I hope that in this project it has a scene where somebody is trying to download off a LimeWire and that whole experience, because that within itself is a scene and cut.
Listen, LimeWire was scared, but it was the shit. LimeWire was it, but then
I
you
feel
was
like we were
fearful.
coders. We were
Yeah.
the beginner
MySpace.
101 coders.
Hello, MySpace taught me how to code. You
Seriously.
do your own little background back in MySpace times. But yeah, like Rita said too, outside of technologies, like the accountability of our actions through all of the technological advancements, like our accountability of not engaging or engaging and how we engage, so that it kind of just paints that picture that when you step out of it, it's like, okay, I have a choice to take action. I have a choice to want to learn. I have a choice to want to not be afraid of this. Through some ha-has, hee-hees, kikis, and some cries. You know, you're gonna, after the end of it, you're gonna want to feel like you want to know more about technology. And I feel like that's, I know you said not about tech, but I really feel like that's the whole, but like the curiosity, having skepticism, yes. Like skepticism for sure. We're not going in naive and blind, but also the power to be has always not been in our hands. It's always been, we've always been the wave, we've always been the inspiration, we've always been the money givers, we've always been everything except for the forefront, everything except for us making the decision. And I hope that people understand that we get to decide and that we get to have a certain level of power in this new tech advance.
I mean, I think we have slowly, like with Quinta, like in her wave of how she started with BuzzFeed, like I think we're able to, you know, even with DEIs and all the stuff being taken away, we have that. But I think there is an evolution of like you said, getting our power back. And if it is through, if with technology, with all the things, I think that us as a community, we really, I think we are really good at honing in on educating ourselves, like hands on. Like if we ain't got the resources, if they haven't given us the resources in Hollywood or where else, whoever, like you said, we're gonna go on YouTube University. We're gonna talk to our peers. We're gonna do all the things that we need to be able to educate ourselves. And I think that's really elevated those, like our moguls now, like the Isas and Shondas and like all the ones that used YouTube and digital and all that space to really evolve their craft. Yeah. So before we wrap out for tonight, I really want to talk about the whole of the state of Hollywood, and where do you see yourself specifically in the storytelling in this shift of the narrative? So I'll let Brooklyn start first. With the state of Hollywood and everything that's happening, like you said, distribution has been crazy. Like sports people giving capital, brands are giving money. I think, like Rita, like you said, with TikTok, I'd already seen TikTok already show their distribution on Hulu. They had like a music performance. I just posted on QOP that Pinterest has their first show that's being distributed as well. So for you, where do you see your storytelling and your position fitting in this narrative of everything evolving from the distributions to what's being shown on content now?
Well, Rita and I talk about this all the time. Like, where do we see? That's like one of our first questions that we had is like, where do we see this at? And hers was Apple and HBO Max is like where I saw, and she saw. She's like Apple, and then when she said Apple, I was like, yeah, actually, that's for the tech, the tech side to it. I could see it. I was like, not Netflix. Not on Netflix. I mean, if it does, hey, they give me the money. They give the money, you know.
Right. If it's just show, you know,
if they got the money,
I'll cut this out of the tape.
I was just kidding, Netflix. I was just kidding. I take it back. But honestly, the state of Hollywood right now is, I feel like it's chaotic because everyone's trying to understand what they want or what's gonna be the next thing. So I feel like right now a lot of people are just shooting and seeing what sticks. A lot of people are just doing a lot of things to shoot and see what sticks. In different ways of storytelling and different. Y'all said the Risa Tisa little mini series like on TikTok, her little story.
I just finished it.
Right now.
I did the full 4 hours. I had to sit and reflect on myself. I'm like, I really sat there and listened to this 4 hours
because that's. I had a Risa T right before this writing journey. I had 3 months of my own little not in a relationship status, but like a boss figure man and a con artist type of way that that girl, I get it. The lies, the fake conversations on the phone, like to a T. People is crazy. To a T, people is crazy.
19 million views though.
Yeah, exactly.
Though. So it made an impact.
Exactly. So even with that, how people were going to start navigating, I think that gave the attention span back to a certain level, to a certain degree. Like she gained 2 million followers in like 3 days. Like,
yeah.
So the attention span of good storytelling, like it connects on a certain level, right? It's this wild story, but because there's a human aspect to it, and there's a lot of people who might not went to the full degree of what Risa went through, but to that manipulating tactic or whatever, I feel like understanding the emotional connection, how we've lost that, and that is really what's needed. So that's why in our project, using technology as the baseline of this, the wave, guys, it's coming with or without us. The shit is coming with or without us. So you better go ahead and learn and jump on and hop on that chat GPT and ride that wave. But still understanding that human aspect. Someone up. What the heck? I don't see. That's the thing about technology. You be doing stuff and it be talking back to you. I don't like that. You be doing stuff and it's like, yeah, I'm with you. And I'm like, I didn't ask you to be with me.
No, but I love that. I love how you said, like, in the sense of, even with that TikTok story, like, we just listened to her talk. She was in the car. She didn't even have a wig on part 14. She was damn near halfway with her sleep on part 15. But I was so intrigued in that goddamn story. I didn't care where she was. I didn't even care if the audio was messed up. I was tuned in, and even down to the rise of podcasts and people now even having that space too. Like, I really think that we're just finding our way and sticking to it and finding what makes it stick.
Yeah. It's connection. I think it's how we're connecting with this sort of content is coming from every avenue, everywhere. And people are finding that that's, like Brooklyn said, it's a bit chaotic. But wherever I can find connection is where I'll connect to. The industry is in this place where I made a little video about this on my little series called Diaries of a Filmmaker. And and it's about the independent new wave. Like, it's all about, the industry is in this very transformative, what's going to sort of be the new law of the land. How are we going to configure ourselves? Acquisitions are going on, layoffs are going on. People are losing their jobs, people are getting their jobs, new AI jobs are popping out of the woodworks. Creatives are finding themselves in spaces of, where do I fit in? And some people, much like me in Brooklyn, aren't trying to fit in. We're just trying to create our own space and slice of heaven to create, or wherever, slice of earth to create. And I think that's I think that's where it is. This is what the industry is now. Again, Issa is doing just that. They canceled Rap Shit. I don't know if her contract is renewed at HBO, but she is going independent. I've been seeing and reading things about her getting investment on a studio. And so now it's like, all right, here we are. This is what we're doing, guys. We're being independent, and we're going to try to find the best home for our work to be compensated. If that's TikTok, if that's Apple TV, if that's Pinterest, Netflix, HBO, it's what's worked best for you. So I think that's where the industry is. While the big wigs are up there trying to figure out, what do we do? How we do this?
Yeah.
Us little guys need to stand strong in our voice. This is what we want to say. This is what we want to do. And we're doing it. And people want to see this. And people are connecting to it. Much like Risa Tisa Girl. I'm on part 3. Okay.
She said, "Don't tell, don't blow,
I'm not.
don't ruin
On
nothing."
part, I think I'm up to the 14, the teens. That's how far I am. Okay. But I love both of your dynamics in the sense of like, wow, these corporation people got a little, whatever tea that they got going on in their period, whatever they're doing. We need to stand strong. And not only, I think, stand strong in collaborating in our content, but also being that olive branch and teaching as well the dynamics. I feel like there are so many producers, so many directors, so many writers, but there's not a lot of accountants. There's not a lot of clearance people. I think, and that's what made me decide to go into post-production, specifically clearance and archive, because I don't see a lot of us in there. And really, there's not a lot of us that's making these final decisions in these final cuts. And that's where the magic happens. And that's where a lot of things get moved around. You'd be like, well, I thought this happened and we had this. No, because in post-production, because since you didn't clear it and you didn't have the right knowledge of fair use and likeness of specific things you were trying to put in, now all the stuff that you thought was in there is now out of the cut. So for you, what is one position do you feel like us as the community we need to tap into more? Because I know, Brooklyn, you started to tap into with Stage 32 a position like production management and things like that. I feel like there's not a lot of us in production coordinating management.
I don't work for Stage 32.
Oh,
I
was like a program or something?
I just volunteer my time there. I work for myself.
And that's close enough too, because
I work for myself. Yeah, I just volunteer. I don't work for them.
Okay.
It's just something that I know that giving my value in certain spaces and building authentic connections through those certain spaces. But honestly, to answer your question is, I feel like ownership, in ownership, that's the whole part of what we're doing too. And even through Sun Arrows production, me and Rita talk about all the time, is that people who are talented don't get opportunities because it's a club. You're in the club or you're not in the club, and you have to fucking. I just cursing.
It be like that sometimes.
You have to claw and scrape and try to get in this club. And when you have ownership and you have a sense of stability about what you want, I'm a fair person. And like with this project, I want to put people on who are horizontal with me in every position. Yeah. I don't want to reach up and grab. Maybe we need one good celebrity to like get the name out there. We might pay for one good actor or something like that to like hype it. But other than that, everybody through the dolly grippers, through post-production, the composer, if you're hungry, this is where we're at. And you reach across and you build people up, and that's where you give people voices and positions. Is that, but like not a free ride, just because you're Black. That's what I tell people. I want to put on people. I want to put on Black people, people of color, people with diverseness or disabilities, whatever the case is. But there's a level of work ethic and accountability, period, because of what Rita talked about, quality, right? About quality, you don't just get positions because of you're Black. You don't just get positions because of what it is.
Listen,
if we want to make a name
diversity so much, you can't even use that plug anymore.
Yeah, if you want to make a name for yourself, you actually have to do something that is going to hit and stand. And I want to put on people. Like, let's network this way, but let me see how hungry you are for it for real. Because I'm going to pay you. So I'm not asking for a little freebie. I'm not asking for you to do like what we want to do. That's why we're raising our own funds to get our investors, whatever, because we want to pay people to actually create this whole, like the ISAs, like the title. We're creating something that actually gives people access, actually gives people money in their pocket so that they don't have to stress, actually gives people, when it does get production, now you have a name in the credit, that now you have credits to go and put it here and there. This is what project I was on. Like, that's the whole name of the game. And I wish more people would understand in our community as well. It's not about reaching up. It's not about trying to get an attention for something like that. You get attention when you create value with the people around you, and you make buzz with the people around you, and you create you rock the boat, and you do something by putting in the work with the people around you. And that's how you get that that buzz or that name or that distribution deal or whatever the case is. So that's really what this project is like we're trying to put people on. We're trying to put people
I
on.
know that's right.
I love that question. I truly, truly do. As a person who has worked in physical production, I I would have to say the two things would be I would agree with Brooklyn on ownership, and I would also say organization.
Ooh,
And
that's a tough one because some people is not organized.
it'd be to the point where it's like, why? Why aren't we organized? Like, I don't know how to explain it, but organization in production, right? More producing team. So production coordinators, production managers, production supervisors, assistant production coordinators, understanding what the paperwork is, understanding what the streamlining is to make this a legitimate piece of art beyond our vision. Like, we have to be legitimate, y'all. And then ownership, not just of the content, but of the things we need to make the content. So, like, equipment. You know, we have aperture lighting, we have red cameras, we have Alexa cameras, and I'm sure those were invented by like white people. But like, what are we? I'm sorry. And I'm with Amanda Stills when she says, I'm with Amanda Stills when she says there's white people and there's people who happen to be white. So
Hello.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Say it.
But like, what do we own, y'all? Like, what do we own to rent out, to grow? What's the word I'm looking for? To get our money and to grow.
Generational wealth.
Yeah, manage to get wealthy. Like, what do we have? Like Teamsters, right? Or people who we need more Teamsters that are Black, which is a racist sort of sector of the industry. It's hard for Black people to become Teamsters and remain there as a career. They be making a good chunk of money. But owning trailers and renting out the trailers, owning the walkies and renting out the walkies, like, what do we have? You know, we're so reliant in this field on everybody else saying yes to us. We need to just start saying yes to ourselves, and we need to get organized. Like, know what you're doing. Know what you're doing.
Yeah, I love that. And so we have come up to our hour, but before we go, I will leave with one more question if we can leave out, and I'll let Brooklyn start. Rita, we'll wrap you out with this. What would you say from your experience, your journey as a creative? What would be one advice that you wish you could have gotten, like, in your journey earlier, like beforehand? I know me, and this, I'm gonna be real transparent. I wish I'd known earlier how to stand up for my rate and getting the right rate that I deserved. Because I feel like, especially when I was in that associate producer transitioning and trying to get into the field producer credit, it was like I was just trying to get the AP credits just because people just were comfortable with me. But I never spoke up quick enough. Well, I feel like, it's time. But I wish I could have learned earlier to been like, no, I'm going to do it a little higher. Like, if you like my work, show me in that money. So what would be one like wish or takeaway that you like was like, damn, I wish I could have learned a little bit earlier. I could have grabbed that a little sooner. I'll let Rita start and let Brooklyn wrap us out.
This one's easy. Like,
oh yeah,
you don't have to know everything, and I'm going to curse.
That's
fuck
right.
these hoes. Like,
I was gonna say fuck these people.
Like, fuck these people. They be trying to make you feel small. Like,
listen,
what? Don't allow them to dim your light, and you don't have to know everything. It's collaboration over perfection all day, every day. Collaborate, lean on people, find your community. That is the beauty of this art. That's it.
I definitely was about to be like, fuck these people. That's the one thing she said, fuck these hoes. I was like, yo, I was gonna say fuck these people.
I mean, I feel the same way.
Because even not even people like exactly people you're gonna get rejected. This is an industry rejection. You're gonna get 1,000,002 no's before you even get one yes. You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand and have thick skin going in through what it is you're trying to do. But my biggest thing is even the people closest to you can keep you stuck. And that is something that I wish I would have learned. There was a long period of chapter where I was trying to like pull people into seeing the vision, pull people into seeing what I saw. And that is the one thing that will keep you stuck. You see what you see, they don't see it, fuck them people. Even if with love, right? With love, not like, you don't gotta be like, you gotta be like, oh, you don't see it, but like, if people don't see your vision, God, source, universe, whatever you believe, you got the vision. And if people don't see it, it's not up to you to convince them about what you see, because you're trying to figure out your vision too. So you can't be battling your crazy trying to figure it out while trying to make other people ease other people. It's like, drop the weight with love, no boundaries, because your friends, your mom, the people that you love the most will keep you stuck for the longest because you see something that they don't see. So,
why are you talking to me? Like, oh my gosh.
I'm telling, listen, that was a long chapter. I finally got to the point of understanding my strength in what that is, because you feel guilty. Most of us, sorry, Preacher Brooklyn's coming out right now, because most of us feel bad. Also call, because most of us feel guilty if you're a people pleaser your whole life, or you're always giving, you're always doing. Saying no, you feel guilty, you feel shameful, you feel a certain type of way about yourself when you understand. But remember in those moments to pause. Are you still a good person? Just because you want to say no doesn't make you a bad person. Just because you don't want to do the same thing doesn't make you a bad person, right? So understand that the people you love the most will most likely be the people who keep you stuck if you don't know boundaries.
And I'll even take it deeper. You probably are in your transition when you start to speak and they don't understand. Ooh. Or they start to come back and they be like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, what is this? Like, that's when you know the transition's happening. Listen, because that's how I felt with the midst of the strike. Like, I was telling people, like, no, documentaries are, this is what they're doing, especially like documentaries were still being greenlit, like left and right. And people were just like, unfortunately, there was a few that was like, no, just go wait. It's going to come back and everybody going to get their jobs. It's going to be back to normal. It is not going back to normal. We are in a new normal. How are you going to adjust? And I felt like I was just speaking to a wall. And when I noticed, I was like, as I was hitting the wall, I was like, why am I talking to myself? Yeah. This must be a blessing just for me. And I'm going to just keep this blessing until it's grown enough to where I can be able to give to the community the right way.
Yeah.
Things. But it was such a joy to be able to have both of you as our last IG Live Talk for Black History Everybody Month. And I'm just like, literally, the audience, if you did not take away from anything, just take away from fuck these people and do you to the best of your ability. Because listen, like RuPaul said, if you can't love yourself, how the hell you gonna love somebody else?
Okay,
RuPaul. Always been my mantra for the rest of my life. Okay. But I literally am excited for what we have to come with QOP. We will be bringing back our IG Live Talks, but of course with March, I have to give myself a break. But with anything, Brooklyn, Rita, can you just tell us overall how, like, the status of Resolution Black and when we will be able to see it soon?
Listen, okay. So the status right now, I told everyone, I'm going to be transparent. I was just talking about it on my live last night. Status right now is we're in rewrites, right? Like, obviously, we're raising money for our line producer and our first AD and to get these contracts set up for what it is. But as we're doing that, rewrites, right? We didn't rush the process of, we strategically wanted to make Resolution Black last year, just so people knew, we was here first. We did this first.
That was actually the conversation.
It was actually like, me and Rita were like, I don't care. We're doing it this year. We're not waiting new year, new me, nothing. We're getting it out this year.
Listen.
But in that, right, we let our writers be creative and let their minds go in these stories, these amazing stories. But like, realistically, some scenes are like, that one scene is $200,000. So realistically,
now you're looking at the reel and it's like, okay.
Realistically, let's see how we can keep the disruption that you want or the story that you want, but how can we navigate it into a way that, like, it's not going to be $200,000 for that one scene. You know what I'm saying? So right now that's where we're at. We're at rewrites while we're still raising money for our line producer and our first AD. So we knew going into this project it was going to be 1.5 to 2 years for it to fully be what it needs to be. We knew that going in, and it's pacing ourselves because again, this is a new space for the both of us. I'm business background, so all of this business side to it, I'm very structured and organized. But on the creative side and actual production, this is my first production company. This is my first production of executive producing what this is. So, and the way that we want to make this, Rita and I talk about it all the time, is we're not trying to rush shit. So y'all could like, we're not rushing nothing. Like we want this to be what we want this to be. And the vision that we have for it, we have for it. And like if other people don't see it, we see it, and we're pacing it in the way that we need to pace it. So right now our writers, they have until the end of March. If y'all are on here, I'm peeping up. I actually talked to
I they giving deadlines. I know they were
oh yeah.
damn.
Yeah, I actually listen, I be checking in here, and guys, where we at? You know, I'm here. I actually talked to Jean today too, Rita. I was like, hey,
Yes.
one more time, baby, what's going like? So yes, of course, deadlines. Like that's the thing. You give grace because again, we all got jobs.
Sorry,
You all got jobs. We all got certain things outside of us. Like we're not getting paid. Like we're not getting paid right now. So we got to give grace into. There's other jobs. There's other things. So being able to pace out what that is, but with certain little dabble do you where we at, so that we can get our line producer by the end of March to get a correct budget for movie budget sheet, so that now we can create a proper budget sheet, a proper pitch deck to give to our investors and these grants. So that's the status that we're at right now. Rita, if you want to.
And I'll even add, Rita, for you too, like because I know the biggest thing for us in the community is marketing. I know that you dibble dab. I've seen the trailer, a little sneak peek, and then I also seen some like behind the scenes of like you introducing the team, which I love that because not a lot of people really give their little shout outs to us and the team that be making it happen. So where do you see for Resolution Black in regards to the future, like as you're going through the process of making this product final? Where do you feel the marketing is going to come into play, especially that you all are going to be doing technology? So what's going to be some of the twists and turns that you all are going to be coming into mind for that?
You know, I really want brand partnerships with tech companies.
Yes.
I really want brand partnerships with tech companies. I think that the idea is so fresh. The idea is so different from what's going on right now that we can pitch ourselves to tech companies to help us get this to a bigger audience. And that's something that we are discussing right now. So we're looking for them brand deals. If y'all know any tech companies that want to fund Black creatives, send them our way, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. First is the script. You can't do nothing without the script.
I was gonna say, hey, you know, us being from LA, from Cali, I think I know somebody that I can get you to that has some brand stuff. Let me text her tonight and I'll see, because she does really good with connecting with brands, especially like with the content. She like works heavily with content creators and that whole wave. Like she teaches me some stuff about brands. I'm like, oh my God. So right when you said brands, I knew exactly what I need y'all to extend to. So while we wrap out this IG live talk and give my quiz the resources that they need, I want to thank you both so much for just giving us the gems, your story, your journey. I really, really, really hope that our audience can get whatever they need from this conversation, because, baby, I learned so much as well. Because, again, I'm not in the scripted world. I'm not even in that world. Resolution Black is just the technology. I'm so interested because I'm a technology girl. I'm a tech girl. Yeah. But I just want to be able to thank you both, because you didn't have to take your time. Like literally the short minute of time, I know that we could have talked forever. Yeah. But I know with the short period of time, I hope that this can give somebody an olive branch to whatever. If they're like start entry level, in the middle, they EP and they got to go back to the basics. Hopefully this conversation can be able to help them in their journey. So like I said, without further ado, QOP is going to take a break with March, but we will be back in April to start the IG Live Talks again. If you want to see this video, this is going to drop immediately when we finish, but we will also have our cute little recap video that I do special in the next couple days. So make sure you stay on the tune with that, and with anything, like QOP says, live, love, create. I will see y'all the rest of tonight. And I'm going to give y'all this information because I need to give y'all this brand info immediately.
Yeah. Thank you so much
for having us, Tina. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. And congratulations to you both, because it's hard being a creative, doing your own shit. So the fact that you're doing it, I know it's going to get done.
Oh yeah, it's out there. Hello.
Listen, it's out there, so it got to be done.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
All right, I'll see y'all later.
Have a
Bye,
good
y'all.